Sundown, you better take care if I find you've been creeping round my back.
Hey there everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Wanayuki Cheese Cafe. So as I'm recording this, it is now August 14th, 2025, which means I am now getting to the tail end of my summer vacation I usually like to take in the beginning of the month. As always, no matter how much time I have, I always feel like I want to have even more time free because it's more time to do what I enjoy best, which includes wandering the streets of Montreal in search of cafes, bars, and restaurants that are quite nice. So I thought, for probably one of the last vacation editions of the vlog, I could probably go somewhere that I don't document as much. I am now within the Ahuntsic-Cartierville district of Montreal, so Sauvé Street East. I passed by here before, like a while ago, except I just kind of passed it when I was going up to Fleury Street to check out the promenade there. If you want a recap of that episode, I'll put a card in the top right corner for you and you can watch that one. But I decided I'm going to go westward and show off a new area that I kind of wanted to show off for a little while, which includes a little bit of a history lesson for my family. And I just passed by Saint Laurent Boulevard, which I've always mentioned countless times in my videos. Anywhere I go, I always seem to be driven to that street one way or another, but it is the dividing line between the east and the west of Montreal, and all the stuff I like to visit goes along the main. And this area is going to be close to Marché Centrale, and oh yeah, there's a brewery and a cafe that I've seen on Instagram a lot. I've seen their beans everywhere within the city, and I thought, why not go directly to the source, get myself a nice espresso, and see what kind of beans they have available. So, we'll continue on with the walk, but before we do that, here's my suggestion for you. Click that subscribe button below and put the notification bell on, because that way, if there's a new video ready to view, you're going to get a pop-up on your phone. Also, give me a thumbs up too, because the more likes I get, the more these videos are promoted all across YouTube, so it does help me get my word across, whatever my word is.
Sundown, you better take care if I find you've been creeping round my back stairs.
I like areas of Rosemont, St. Leonard, and the Plateau. This is one part of town that I'm not too familiar with, which means I'm kind of going through a street which is almost new territory for me, no pun intended. Judging by the way this looks over here, I can see that on my right is residential, and it looks like it's a mix between some older apartments and standalone houses like bungalows. And then to my left, it's all industrial and lots of mechanics, machinery places, so you get a different vibe over here. This part of Sauvé is, like I said, brand new, but I know if I was to continue further west along Sauvé, it would eventually take me into Ville Saint Laurent, and it would become Côte d'Arthur Boulevard. So another one of those things where if you pass a highway, it kind of gives you, well, you know, the street changes as it gets into a new borough. Here we are on Lacadie Boulevard at last. This is part one of the destination I wanted to hit up today. If it does sound familiar to you, it's because in the beginning of my vacation, I did record a vlog when I was walking along Jean Talon Street West, all the way to get up into Mile X, and I did pass by this part of town, or at least I passed by this street, and mentioned that I would want to come back here again. If you want to see that episode again, I'll put a card on the top right corner and you can watch that one. But we're going to continue away our south and tell you what I know about this street. Le Professeur. Oh, I see that's a little pun between a croissant and a professor. I guess you could get a degree in pastry. Oh, actually, you probably could. Okay, bad joke aside, what I know Lacadie Boulevard for is, if I was to go a little further north around here, I wouldn't be that far from where my aunt lives, around that part of Ahuntsic. So compared to her where she was living in Bay d'Urfia when I was growing up as a kid, she definitely made her way more towards the center of Montreal, or relatively speaking, because this is center, but pretty far north into the island. And if I was actually to go further west, I did mention I would be hitting up Ville Saint Laurent, but technically that's also the location of Highway 15. which is the main highway you would be taking to get up to the Laurentians and also to the island of Laval if ever you want to get in there. I guess one day, if I want to get into Laval, then I could do an episode down the road at the Montmorency subway station because that is pretty centered to central Laval. Oh, commuter train station over here makes sense because this is one of the stops for it. But I didn't even realize that if I was to look a little further north from here, I could see Mount Royal up in the distance. I'll admit that I've never really come south from here, at least on foot. Or actually, if I had, I wasn't really thinking about it because I was just thinking about running one errand sometime last year. And if I was to go a little further south, I would be getting to, okay, Marché Centrale is actually not too far, but I would also be getting to the Rockland Center very shortly, which is on the corner of the Metropolitan and on Rockland, or L'Acadie Boulevard. Although I guess Rockland is one of the side streets too, so technically I'm correct. Nostos is over here. Well, I remember that's a Greek restaurant I visited with my aunt a little while ago. Almost forgot about the location, but I knew it was on L'Acadie. And it turns out it's like right across the street from here, but it's also just a little bit north of Louvain Street West, which is where I want to head up for that coffee shop that I was talking about. So I think if I was to go like further west along there, I'm gonna hit it up.
I've been through the desert on a horse with no name. It felt good to be out of the rain. In the desert, you can't remember your name, 'cause there ain't no...
Oops, I think I took a wrong turn, so let's reverse course. So it turns out that I was on the wrong side of Louvain West when I was trying to locate the cafe, and I'm gonna have to cross my way somewhere else. But the good news with that is I do have an area I can come across, or like I can walk through that I was planning to head up after the cafe, but seems like I get this out of the way since I do have to take this path before I could go get my shot of espresso. Now, this part of town, Marché Centrale, in case you're not familiar with what this is, it's basically a huge outdoor shopping promenade. Like, I would say that it's Montreal's equivalent to the 10-30 over in Brossard, which yes, I have done a video of that a while back, and if you want to see it, I'll put a card in the top right corner for you to watch it. But basically, everything is like outdoor strip malls, all the major stores you expect, like Bureau en Gros, Winners, Costco, which takes care of the top center of the Montreal, because there's 4 Costcos that I know of that handle different parts of the island. You got this one here, the one in Point St. Charles for people in the south, the one in Kirkland for the West Island, and one up in Anjou for the east end of Montreal. So they do cover all 4 of those corners, and some people go off island they really wanted to as well. If you're to ask me which of the 2 malls is larger, I really couldn't tell you because this does look like it's a large mall that's outdoors, but I feel like the 10-30 location is way bigger because it takes up a lot more space. Maybe if I look at the map one of these days and do like a cross comparison, I'll be able to give you an answer, but that's low priority right now. My priority is my street that I'm on. I'm on Chabanel Street West, and this is the part of Ahuntsic that I've remembered from growing up that we did a couple of visits from time to time. I'm gonna just show you very soon once I get to the building. Rue Meillard, or Better Street or Best Street, I guess is translated to in English. I don't know if it was named after someone named Meillard or if it's supposed to be a joke. But I am getting close to one of these buildings I was referring to. I don't really remember much off the top of my head because it's been so long, but I'll be right back.
Girl, you got a gift to get you know.
So not only was that a pretty loud truck, but I had a whole bunch of dust flowing in my face as a result. As bad as that was, I feel like it's still gonna be getting drywall dust any day of the week. So I think this might be one of the buildings I was referring to. This would be like one of my big point of references about this part of town. My Aunt Sonia used to work around here back when she, I think, was working for Cricket's Clothing at the time. They were a manufacturer and distributor for kids' clothing, and I tried to find the logo and other information online, but it seemed like it's just a thing of the past, so that's really hard to come by. what we would do on occasion, like me, my mom, the rest of my family, was we would get off, I believe, at around the Castelnau station, and then take number 55, that's the Saint Laurent bus, all the way up here, and then we'd be able to go meet her for lunch sometimes. Could have been like a good pizzeria, Italian place, but I wouldn't be able to tell you right off the bat. So I feel like that the last time we came all the way up here was sometime probably when I was a teenager, so that's been almost 30 years later, and I can guarantee you that all the restaurants and the makeup of the area has changed a lot. So there you go. That's my big point of reference for Ahuntsic. And Chabanel, interestingly enough, is considered the garment district of Montreal. I know in the previous video I said that that used to be actually around more like Casgrain and Mile End, because you see some of the similar style buildings like these large towers before it moved up here for reasons. So yeah, this is what I know about it. And now that I've covered that, let's see if I can make my way north to the coffee shop and then for the brewery. Delicious. Just the boost that I needed to get through the rest of this vlog. So this spot over here that's on Louvain West, it's actually close to Saint Laurent Boulevard than I expected, which means technically I probably could have walked Saint Laurent instead and avoided the whole Lacadie Boulevard. But I want to take a bit of a scenic route because I wanted to again show off a little bit of what I know of the area. And in terms of this coffee shop, I do know it because I've been to a lot of bars, restaurants and such where they're going to be serving these beans like from this roaster directly, but I knew they were one of those micro roasters, a bit like Pista, a bit like Myriad, Saint Henri that you're finding all around the city these days. But this is where they roast everything, and it looks like it's a pretty nice selection, decent price for what you pay for the coffees here. But one thing that took me by surprise is just the fact that it seemed like it's a bit more of a vast product line than expected. You have your pods, you got your beans, hoodies, bags that are kind of expected with coffee shops. But the selection of espresso machines you got here, that I did not expect at all. Even things like Italian style steepers, drip machines, yeah. It's like you got the works over here. So I'm kind of glad I finally got to try this out on camera and show it off a little bit. Not to mention I did a short a little while back when I was on lunch break at the office. Went to Café Quartet, noticed I had Barista over there, tagged them, and then they said, looking forward to your visit soon. So it's kind of a way to let them know I am here. Best way to try this while I'm on vacation. So Barista, I'm sending you a toast. Quite nice. So I'm glad that I came over here to finally try the Barista blends right at the source. I'm sure going to keep my eyes open for that again if I find it anywhere else, just like if I could spot Pista around here. Now, I was kind of wondering too that there's a microbrewery I could be trying out, but the good news is that I don't even have to go far and create a musical montage. It's right in the same building. So we're going to come here and maybe do a small taster. And here we are, first taste of the Silo Brewery right here on the spot. I've been getting some of their cans in the past before, and I think I might have shown it off once when I was doing one of my more recent barbecues. That was the what was that again? The Wiley Road? Oh yeah, that New England IPA that I never come across until recently. I'll put a card in the top right corner for you, and you can watch that one as well. Essentially, it's supposed to be like a district of brewery or like a Cap C, and just like the Helm Brewery, or even like I'm trying to think of like right off the top of my head, but there's some of these breweries you find around here where all the names of the beers are named after streets in the area. So obviously you would have Saint Laurent for their Kolsch blonde beer, which is not that far. There's Fleury that's a little further north from here. They even have a Chabanel one. And I like their cans because that Chabanel has like a picture of a clothespin to kind of, tie into the fact that it's the garment district of Montreal. And there was even some other seasonal ones too, like a sour fruit ale, which I wasn't really in the mood for. What I'm going to be doing instead is what they call their Verdun. I'm trying to think if there's a Verdun street around here, but essentially this is just a Helles. I hope I pronounced that right. Like a very light blonde beer, like a light German style blonde beer. And I thought it's kind of cool that they serve it in one of these box. It makes me think back to the box I've had over at the Melon Brewery that's on Saint Andre and Jean Talon. So, cheers to continued summer fun. Ooh, and a very nice taste too. Easy going, so a nice way to kind of offset the IPA that I would normally be having if I'm going to be out and about. I do have some IPAs, but I kind of want to find something that I haven't necessarily picked up in store. This thing gets the job done. Pretty cool. I actually didn't even notice that right behind me before is what they call the Esplanade Louvain. So it's a bit like the Esplanade Tranquille that you would find around Place des Arts, where pretty much they would have like activities going on. Doesn't seem to be anything right now, but I could be wrong. But I don't know exactly what will be hosted around there, considering that it's my first time in the area. And who knows when the next time I'm going to be around here will be. Because it is, I'll admit, as much fun as I am having a wandering like random streets to find new parts of the city, this does take a bit of extra time to go visit compared to my usual Rosemont and Plateau Montreal areas. So I guess I'm just going to be soaking up the sun and enjoying what I can while I'm still off. The only downside to this though was that they didn't have any galopins or 5-ounce taster platters here, so I wasn't able to do like a tray of beers to be tasting. So unfortunately I missed out on one of the fun parts that come to the microbrewery. But maybe one day I'll come back here and maybe get a glass or another pint for myself. Frankly, right now I just feel like doing the one pint, because it's either going to be one of these or a taster platter of 4 beers, and then see where I go from here. I know eventually I'm going to want to have something for supper. Who knows? Well, that was a great beer here. The only thing is that I kind of lost my spot because I want to go inside, return my glass, and maybe do a final taster, because I was going under the impression that I'm getting to the end of my vacation. I don't know the next time I'm going to come to this brewery, and I don't know if I'm going to be finding all the beers here in stores. So what I've got now is the Silo C. It's supposed to be their IPA made with classic hops. I didn't see on the menu what kind of hops they use because I'm kind of familiar with what they are, but judging by the looks of this is not Citra, this is not Nelson Sauvin, so my guess is kind of like a typical IPA, and I only got a 5-ounce glass. No, not a 5-ounce. I just got a glass, like about 10 ounces, to do like one final round here before I hit the road. So, cheers to another round up here in Ahuntsic. Okay, so this one, it tastes like a typical IPA, so it kind of makes me think of a Goose Island IPA and etc. So if you like your beer slightly hoppier, this is one that you could probably take. Otherwise, if you don't like it too hoppy, then stick with New England IPAs like I do. That's not to say I don't like other hops, it's just New England's always speak to me most because I always mention countless times it's a good combination of strength, hops, and the fruit flavors that kind of counterbalance everything. So, pretty nice. And it'll be a good way to kind of wrap things up over here and decide, once again, how I'm going to be ending my vlog. I could either go back to Saint Laurent, I could go westward back to Marché Centrale, maybe look at Rockland Center for the first time in so many years. We'll wait and see what we do. There we are. One fine brew and a good taste of an IPA before I head on back wherever I go. Like I said, I had no idea when the next time I'm going to be around here is, so I want to take advantage without going too much overboard. But overall, satisfying number of brews I had here, and also satisfying coffee. Even though, like I said, I've had this coffee blend a number of times in other places, it was nice to have it at the source. So I'm going to just continue my walk, see if I get something for supper tonight, and go from there.
I've been trying
Well, I decided to go into Marché Centrale once again, like the lower half of it, just south of Chabanel, because there is one restaurant I remember someone that started to follow me. Well, that restaurant started to follow me on my Instagram feed a while back, and I thought, I don't know the next time I'm going to be back around here, so maybe take advantage of that and see what it's like. And luckily, I'm very close to it. Here we are over at Roasters BBQ Bar and Grill, or whatever you want to call it. So I mentioned earlier that these were one of the first people that were following me when I was becoming the Wandering Yuki, and I had my Instagram account and really exploring around the island of Montreal. So I knew that if ever I would want to come into Ahuntsic, I would probably want to come here because it's still within Marché Centrale, and they have a really nice terrace, although I forgot about the fountain that's just in the back, so I'm glad I was able to show that off. And I know that there used to be a few roasters around, but those are like a smaller chain of like small roasters, like rotisserie chicken and some pizzerias that are attached to it. Those had closed down over time. I think I remember there was one close to my house in St. Hubert, but there was another one I ran across if I was going on Sherbrooke East in Marché Hochelaga Maisonneuve, because I know if I walked along that, passed by the Olympic Village, it would have been around there. This is the only roaster that's still available. It feels like a sit-down restaurant. Good selection of food over here, like mostly burgers, roasted chicken, steaks, and maybe some pastas. But I thought if I'm going to be doing that, I could always do something kind of classic. 1 pint of Stella Artois. That's brewed in Belgium. It's one of those things that if you're going to have a pint of Stella, you obviously have to have it with this classic glass. 15 cubic liters, I think. Basically, it's like a full European-style pint glass. So it's a perfect way to kind of wrap things up as I wait for my meal. And it's delicious because I'm also aware of Stella, because it was one of the regular brews I would get with 2 of my friends when we used to hang out over at Winnie's on Crescent back in the day. As for my meal, well, you're going to wait and see what's coming up. They actually included chopsticks with this. So, when I was looking at the menu, I thought I could probably do something that's pretty typical of one of these roaster or BBQ type places, but then at the same time, maybe I can look and see if there's something that stands out that's different compared to what I would usually find. And what I have over here is this roasted chicken stir fry. So it takes a bit of their roasted chicken they usually do. You know, if you're going to be having it on the side with fries and maybe some coleslaw, but they actually included with some noodles, some vegetables, teriyaki sauce, and what else is there? Coriander. They cook it in sake, so it's like if you want to have some Asian cuisine, but not necessarily go to an Asian restaurant or like an Asian fusion place, this is a spot. Oh, very nice. So chicken's very tender. I like the teriyaki seasoning in here. Even though it's not something I really do very often, to tell you the truth. But you know, once in a while, you gotta try something brand new. And maybe eventually, if I get experimental enough, I can look up, how can I make my own teriyaki seasoning? Because I've done General Tao at home, I've done Pad Thai at home with some shrimp, so it's always possible. Well, that was a very satisfying meal. Once again, I would not have guessed that I could put roasted chicken from a rotisserie or like a bar and grill and then add it to an Asian stir fry, but it was a great combination. Makes me think that one of these days, if I'm doing a cooking show, like at home as opposed to just grilling in the backyard, I could probably put that to the test. Now, it's still relatively early in the day, like 6:30 p.m. Eastern time, and I'm just finishing off the rest of this Stella Artois. But once I'm done here, I'll probably just call it a night, make my way home, and then see what I do for the rest of the days that I'm on vacation. like I said earlier in the video, it always feels bittersweet around this time of year because my vacation is running out. I've got to go back to the office, and I think, you know, I always enjoy doing what I do best, which is wandering the streets of Montreal with a coffee in hand, trying to find new bars, restaurants, cafes, exploring the various boroughs here to see what all the hidden gems are. It's a lot easier to do that when I'm on vacation, but it doesn't mean I'm going to be stopping that because I know that the weather's probably going to be nice up until September, maybe even October, November, depending on how the warmth heads out. But I guess the truth is, it's never going to stop me from doing it, period. Since I've done plenty of videos where it's cold outside and I'm still doing my wanders. But once again, the freedom of vacation is where I shine best. And soon it'll be time to go back into reality. So everyone, thanks for watching this latest edition of the Ahuntsic-Cartierville Cheese Cafe. If you like what you see, you know what to do. Click that subscribe button below and give me a thumbs up if you enjoy my antics, you enjoy my wanders, the stories I share, and all the explorations that come with it. Plus, if you have any ideas for future episodes, leave in the comments and I'll see what I can do. Till then, take care, see you next time, and enjoy the ride.
Turns to moonlight, and I'm at my best, praising the way it all works, and gazing upon the rest. Yeah, the cool before the warm, the calm after the storm. Oh, the cool before the warm, the calm after the storm. I wish to stay forever, letting this be my